Good afternoon and welcome to Sportsphere at Lesedi Television. My name is Thomas Motsewakhumo. It's yet another day where we're going to be talking all things sports. As you know that we're going to be unpacking what happened over the weekend in terms of all sporting activities that took place. But before I tell you the things that we're going to be talking with regard to sports, let me just put you through some of the good news or some of the things that happened in terms of sports that took place over the weekend that we can be proud of as the nation. We saw the TAFISA management coming all the way from overseas to visit Botswana, but eventually they met our Minister of Sports and Art to make a deal. The deal is to say that Botswana will be hosting the TAFISA World Congress in 2027. About 700 delegates will be in Botswana. Other good news that are coming through is that during the ITF Junior Games tennis that are taking place at the National Tennis Center, we saw our own Ntungamile Rugwin becoming the champion in the category of J60. He hammered in the singles a player from Hong Kong. I will recall the name as we go through the show. He did very well. Remember, last week he was playing in Kenya and he also won the J100 in Kenya again. Back-to-back champion by Ntungamile Rugwin. Again, we can talk about our softball men under 23, which left on Saturday to go and take part in the World Cup under 23 Africa qualifiers in Kenya. We wish them the best of luck and others that we're going to be mentioning here in our show. But our show will be basically talking about the badminton competition, which has just ended, and we also focus in boxing, which they had the national championship taking place over the weekend. Eventually, we're going to be talking football as usual. And as usual, I'm not alone, ladies and gentlemen. I'm with the guy that I'm always with. I'm talking about Robbie, whom I'm welcoming here at Sportsphere. Robbie, let me take this time to welcome you once again, as usual.
Yeah, thank you very much, Timmy. Thank you. I always say it's good to be here every time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Robbie, we had a very exciting weekend of sporting activities, like I was alluding or mentioning to the viewers at home. A lot of activities taking place, not only in terms of football. Badminton was there, boxing was there, volleyball was there. Yeah. Almost all the sporting codes, they were active this weekend.
Yeah, indeed a very good weekend for sports lovers, and could go anywhere in the town and find sports going on. This is what we want, and as sports people, because sports needs to be always continue. So it's good to see a lot of activities happening, a lot of sports activities happening, and you have just been mentioning good things from our tennis player. You're just mentioning good things about hosting international events. You were just mentioning about our national team, softball under 23s, where we're playing in Kenya qualifier. We wish them well.
Yeah, let's go to badminton, Robbie Rob. We saw Botswana hosting about 19 countries. Botswana was the 20th country here in Gaborone at Royal Area Indoor Sports. For the first time, we realized that we have another indoor sporting facility here in Gaborone in Royal Areas as indoor sports. It's a very good development because it means in terms of facilities, infrastructure as a country, we are growing.
Yeah, the Royal Area it's a very good facility. You can remember they host a lot of games there. They also host football games. There are two stadiums which are adjacent to each other. For a country like Botswana, a developing country, in terms of infrastructure, I think Royal Area is giving us what we need. It's another opportunity for sports people to have an exposure of such international facilities like the Grand Area. So we're talking about badminton and the indoor facility. Yeah. So we know that we always rely on the indoor facilities that are Botswana SSKB or police at Odds, and maybe the UB one that was just built recently in years. But now you talk of a Royal Grand Area, it gives sports people a variety of choice to use.
Robbie, the world seems to be having confidence in Botswana in terms of hosting events. Next year we're going to be hosting the World Athletics Relays. We've been given the go-ahead. In 2027 we're going to be hosting, just as I was introducing earlier on, the TAFISA World Congress. And now, this weekend, from the 20th to the 23rd, the Badminton Association was hosting 19 countries. Others from Asia and Europe, they all came to Botswana.
Yeah, it's all good. It all goes back to the culture that we are as Botswana. They call it Botho. The way we treat people, visitors as they come, in traditional Botswana, how we treat people. I think the world now has seen a diamond in Botswana in terms of hosting international events, because it's all about peace, the peace that we have in the country. It's all about the hospitality. It's all about the political stability that we are as a country. It also brings sports, because our politics they are very calm, like other countries. So people choose where they feel safe and they feel where they will be appreciated as well. So Botswana has raised the hands in terms of hosting international events. As you can see, a number of them are coming, and still more to come.
We are not just hosting, Rob.
Yeah.
We had some of our players taking part in some of the events. Like, for instance, let me just talk to my viewer at home to tell them that some of the events that were taking place there were the men's singles, the women's singles, the men's doubles, the women's doubles, and the mix. Like I said, Botswana was not just hosting. We had some of the players partaking in the men's singles. For instance, we had the likes of Lawane Mokopa, we had the likes of Tsepo Berekisi, we had the likes of Tefo Kabomo, we had Tumelo Muilwa. In the ladies section, we had the likes of Naledi Sitalekhosi, we had the likes of Solofelo Willie, we had the likes of Tessa Kabelo Khosi Diallo, which is a good thing. We're not just hosting, we're also taking part. We're also exposing our players to such international activities. Yeah,
it's good we take part and then bring results. It goes back to the performance of our athletes. And when we have athletes, so many athletes performing very well, the international world tends to recognize you. You are just giving an example about badminton, but you can take a leaf from athletics. Our athletics team, our relay team was always doing well at the Commonwealth and everywhere. Now we are hosting the World Relays Championship. So it goes back to the performance of athletics. When our athletes do well, the world tends to recognize us. And you were just mentioning about the tennis guy Ndungamili, that is doing well. He did very well in Kenya. He did well. Now they're putting our flag of our country on the map, and everyone tends to know about us, and then they give us the hosting contracts.
Yeah, definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, in terms of results, we saw in the men's singles, we saw Pan Puk Tin from I think it's from Thailand. Yes, he became the champion. And then the women's singles, we saw Johanita Schwarz from South Africa become the champion. In the men's doubles, we saw the likes of Buruan and Kamal becoming the champion from India. In the mixed doubles, we saw Summers and Ackerman from South Africa becoming the mixed doubles champion. And in the women's doubles, we saw Ackerman and Schwarz again becoming the champions. You can see that South Africa, they totally dominated the finals in 3 categories. They were there, and they took home something. They took home a medal, either the gold or bronze.
Yeah, it's good for South Africa, and I always say it wasn't a good day, a weekend for our athletes here local. But I always say there's always something to learn from such competitions. Whether you lose or you win, there's always something that you pick and you learn from the opponents, that going forward where you have to work hard on and try to improve.
Definitely. We did not get anything at the end of the day as a country, but we hosted the tournament itself. We left. In fact, all the people who came, they made sure that they are happy with what we did at the end of the day. We're going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at boxing, which we also want to watch over the weekend. So we're going to be telling you what transpired. Welcome back. Remember, this show is brought to you by Abote Juice, which is bringing to you Sportsphere here at Lesedi Television. We continue, and this time around we're going to boxing. Rob, we saw over the weekend the finals by BOBA, or Botswana Boxing Association. They call them National Championships, which is the last event of the calendar of events. And they did very well, especially that the other time we were talking about the new committee, which has just taken over. There have been rolling events week in, week out sparring sessions. And this time around, we see them saying, we are closing the year, we're going to be introducing our calendar of events for 2026. But this time around, we are saying we are holding the championships. The other time, they had the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. This weekend, they had the finals. About 15 bouts taking place. It was accelerating.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see them having their finances planned. And if you can remember, this is the fourth competition that they had since the beginning taking over the office.
Yeah.
In a very short period of time, you see 3 or 4 events happening in a successful succession weekends, which is very good. So I thought I would have a chance to go and watch some bouts, but
for sure,
because of time, I did not go and watch. So I saw on social media that it was very, very thrilling.
Very thrilling. What impressed me the most, Wanarobi, is the turnout by the affiliates. The affiliates, I'm talking about clubs. We're talking about EMG Boxing Club, we're talking about SSK Boxing Club, Prisons Boxing Club, DTCB, turning out in numbers. And they did not just come as boxers, they also brought their family members. The hall was packed to the rafters.
Yeah, you could see the hunger that the boxing people were starving. You could see the hunger. The other time I was talking about, the people wanted more boxing to take place in our country. As you could trace back to the history of boxing in the country, it was football then boxing by then. But now the committee that came wants to take that thing and bring it back to boxing nowadays. So it's good to see people coming, spectators coming to watch these events, because it gives moral support and it boosts the what is most interesting is the issue that we are mentioning now about the affiliates, the clubs taking part. It shows the hunger that the clubs are, and the clubs are always doing a lot. It's for the Boxing Association to provide that platform and organize such events.
Robbie, what happens whenever there's a new committee coming into the office? People always show some kind of support. They will always show confidence in them. We see the boxing fraternity of boxing family. They seem to be rallying behind the new committee, and the new committee seem really to be running away with it. Activities after activity. Is this something that we've been missing as the people who love boxing?
Yeah, like I said, people have been missing that, and you know, people want to come and see and observe and see what really is happening. What are the new things that this new committee is bringing in? When then, as time goes, they will sit down and reflect. If they don't get what they are expecting, Timmy, they will go away. So it's up to the association committee members to try and maintain that good performance that they're starting with, because football people lose patience. They don't have patience. If you do something small, they just disappear and then leave you with you there without even supporters. They need supporters. They need everything, but it's up to them to see whether they don't drop the bar.
To my surprise, like we said the other time, yet there's no sponsor, but you can say the turnout. People don't care. They just want to see people jumping into the ring and doing that thing. There's no sponsor as yet. Is this something that the turnout, the number of events that they're organizing can be entice potential sponsors out there to say, boxing is there, now you can go because activities are now taking place? Very
true. It entices the sponsors, because if you are selling your product in an event, and you are selling it on an empty plate, there's no one who can be interested in what you are doing. But you have to show them what you have done, regardless of having funds or no funds. They have to have something tangible that they can say, come to your company, Timmy, and then say, we are selling boxing. And then the person will be asking, what do you have on the table?
What is it that you've been doing?
Yes, what is it that you've been doing? Now they can measure their whatever they do, and then they can be able to tell the person in numbers and in percentages that this is what we are capable of doing. So the reason why we want you to take us from this baseline to this baseline. But to just sit there and then say you don't have a sponsor, it shows that you are not self-reliant. When you're not doing anything. So it's better you do something, you profile that package, that whatever you are doing, and then you profile it properly. Legally, it will sell you.
From 48 kg to 81 kg, we saw, like I said earlier, 15 bouts, 4 women's bouts and 11 men's bouts. And interesting, Rob, there were awards, which is something that I want us to concentrate on. We are not going to be looking at what happened in the bouts, but the awards, we saw some individual awards like best coach of the tournament, obviously referee of the tournament. We saw best female boxer. We saw best male boxer. We saw best male bout, we also saw an award for best female bout, which is very interesting. In the best coach award, we saw the coach from Francistown Boxing Club, Mr. Chongin Toti, getting the award. And in the referee category, we saw Sam Kering becoming the top referee. Best female boxer, Lethabo Mudukanele, as usual, at 52 kg, doing very well, convincing the judges that she's the best. Best female bout was between Gift Modise of Francistown Boxing and Queen Molefe of Prisons Boxing Club. That is the 60 category. And the best male bout was between Katlo Hoe and Katleho Kiwarapets of Titans in the I think it's the 57 kg, and the best male boxer was Katleho Kiwarapets again, doing very well. He became overall, but me and you maybe were guessing that the likes of George Molonta will do very well, but here a new kid on the block.
You can see the competition that is there. So I was telling you the other day that we organize events such as this. We're going to take new talent. This is what we want, and that is what measures growth. If you don't have new talent and you're having the old same people in the system, it doesn't show growth. But you see another young talent or coming up, or a different face coming up into such competition is very good. You know, it's because of awards. Awards, they motivate. They bring a healthy competition. They don't just bring competition, but a healthy one, because everyone wants to be seen there. Everyone wants, and on its own, it motivates them, and we tend to have a very good event.
Francistown Boxing Club became the overall winner of the tournament. That is to say, they ran away with it. But Robbie Rob, what is interesting is these guys are new in the office. They always say first impressions always last. Yeah,
it does. It does, like I mentioned earlier on. It does, because there's no way out. They have to do the right things, because they were the same guys who were also there in the
former boxers.
And they know the game. They know what is pain at boxing. So they have to hit the ground running. So the most interesting part, you were mentioning clubs. So I saw the club like Prisons reviving. You remember the days of EMG at peak, the club. It's very interesting. Francistown club. So it's interesting to see that club coming out now. It's no longer about the BDF club that we know dominating, or the UB club dominating. The DTC, BMC, you know, remember the BMC. Me and you, we know the times of BMC boxing club. But it's good to see club like Prisons coming up and raising up their hands as well.
Definitely. Big up to the new committee that is being headed by Ray Diranti. You guys are doing very well, but we feel that, the feeling out there is that we can still do more. Wishing you the best. Now we're going for a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at football. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. Remember, this show is brought to you by Botle Juice. This time around, we're diverting our attention to football, and we're going to be talking the mighty Zebras. We're going to be talking our national team, which is heading to the Africa Cup of Nations final 2025 in Morocco. We saw Robbie Rob, our head coach, Morena Ramurebudi, releasing a squad of 32 players today. And I don't know, my man, what is your impression with regard to the list of players that are there? Obviously, you've got your own feelings. I've got my own feelings.
Yes.
The viewers at home, they've got their own feelings. How do you feel about the names that you have seen that have been mentioned or have been nominated or picked by the coach himself?
Yeah, Timmy, like you are saying, it should not be about me, or it should be about you or about anyone else. It should be about the nation, because we are talking about the national team. So how Zebras is going to perform is going to say Botswana performed this way. So now, we have seen the preliminary squad, which we had 55 players. Now the technical team has trimmed the squad to 32
players.
32 players, and they are still going to trim it to 23, and then have three standby players which will be going to AFCON. But given a chance, anyone can pick whoever he wants to pick, looking at the philosophy that they want to do. Because remember, we don't have a philosophy that we can say this is the philosophy that we play as Botswana as a country. Every coach who is hired comes up with their own philosophy and their own thinking and their own view of football and how football is played in Botswana. But we wish them luck, we wish them well. To see such a coach So there was some surprises that I saw there. There's a young guy, a young boy at Abron United, Peace Ramwahi, a very good player. I like young stars. I like young players coming up and brushing shoulders with the big guys.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe he was supposed to be given chance when we were playing the qualifiers,
yeah.
and then when you take him for exposure to Morocco, you know that you have once used him. In fact, if they are going to use him at AFCON, it will be a very good thing for him. He's going to have exposure and learn. But you take him and not use him and say he's going to have exposure, and then leave some of the senior players. There's some senior players who are on form now that we can talk about, that we see that are in reserves. You see Tero Sitsile is one of them. Mpokhaswane is one of the midfielders, and he plays with Peace at GU.
Yeah.
So now I thought, going there and looking at the opponents that we are going to play, you need to take tried and tested players that you know they are going to fight. You know, because I think throwing the boy into the lion's den at this stage, if it is for exposure and is going to just watch there and then come back, I think it will be good. For me, players like Peace, they should go through under proper development structures. You should go under proper junior teams pathway, under 20, under 23, and then we see him in the national team. Because to rush him there in the Lions Den is you want Botswana or anyone else to blame the small boy when we get there.
Robbie, you are a coach, eh?
Yeah.
I just want to ask you, put you on the spotlight. If you are given the opportunity to select your own team, what are the things that you take into consideration to pick a player to say this one is fit to be in the national team? Just mention some of them.
Yeah, first thing, as a country should have a philosophy. Because I believe that if I'm given a chance as a national team coach, I should find a philosophy for a country. What is the country? Where is the country going? What is the country vision in terms of how they want to play football? What is the culture of the national team? But without those things, you look at a player whose technical abilities are at par. So because at national team level, you can't be teaching players how to control the ball, how to move into this place, how to run with the ball. I will select, given a chance, select players who are technically good. No any chances, no development at national team. I'll select players that will fit into any approach, any philosophy, any system that I want to employ as a coach.
Okay.
But I see it difficult from a coach's point of view. I feel for national team coaches, because a lot of players, they haven't gone through development structures. A lot of players do not have enough exposure in terms of playing international games. It becomes difficult for coaches, and most of the time they're always crucified for bad results.
There was a final squad, I think. In fact, what they're saying is will be announced on around the 2nd of December, and they'll be departing for Morocco around that time.
Yeah.
We'll keep you posted about the 23 players that will be accompanying the whole technical team. We wish our mighty Zebras all the best. We're going to keep you posted as time goes and what is happening in the Zebras camp. Let us move now to what was transpiring over the weekend in terms of First Division football. Now we come into the south, where results are coming in thick and fast. We saw Dinari hammering Security Systems by 5 goals to 3. Tamara Shooting Stars also winning by 2 goals to 1 against Down Young Strikers. Lokeng United continue to play well. They seem to be on form now, winning 1-0 against Majeng FC. Not only winning against Tsetseng United by 2 goals to 1. Holu Ghost also playing very well, winning by 2 goals to 0 against Union Flamingo Santos, and Prisons 11 also playing well by winning by 1 goal to 0 against joining Youngsters. This is the results of week number 11, First Division South. We're now rushing to the north. They were also in week number 11. We saw Tsabotle and BR Highlanders playing to a 1-all draw. Tonota FC winning by 1-0 against Inesia FC. 11 Angels winning by 2 goals to 0 against Ndundu Young Fighters. In Balakalungu and JJ United playing 1-all draw. And another game which was played on Saturday in First Division North is Tsikinyaga Tigers and Motlakase Power Dynamics playing to a 0-all draw. These are the results coming from First Division. Your comment before we go to FNB Premiership?
Yeah, it's becoming interesting to see how teams are coming up. I was talking to you last time about the coaches being fired and hired. Now is the time that we see that you signed very well. You signed the technical team or the coaches very well.
Yeah, the first round is coming to an end.
First
now
round
you
is
need
coming
to
to an
evaluate
end.
what
You see
transpired.
FC raising up their hands and going up. You see Dinari coming up after Northern dropping the points. At one point, Northern was on top. So now we are going to see how it rolls.
Yes, let's go to FNB Premiership, where we see results coming in. Here, Gaborone United winning 3-1 against Traffic. BDF 11, same score line, winning against Extension. Ghana Soa Flamingos hammering joining Galaxy by 3 goals, Robbie, to 2. Nico United continued to play very well. They won 1-0 against Murupule Wanderers. Santa Green losing 1-0 to Matebele FC. Muchuri Center Chiefs and Orapa United playing to a 0-all draw. Calendar Stars and Black Lions also playing to a 0-all draw. Police 11 and Township Rollers also playing to a 0-all draw.
Yeah, 0-all draw. Was it that match, Police 11
a lot of
Township
teams
Rollers
drawing here. This seemed to be one of the weekends where there wasn't a lot of scoring taking place. I don't know whether strikers had forgotten their boots at home or what.
Sometimes people tend to blame strikers when it is like this, when goals are not coming. But we need to give it up to the defenders as well.
Yeah.
And mostly defenders are doing well. And people will talk about strikers because they're the ones to be remembered first because they've scored goals that people celebrate. But on the other hand, contrary, we might ask and say, what is it good that the defenders, from a technical point of view, what is good that defenders are doing that denies strikers to score goals? And then the approaches of coaches are, again, the systems that coaches deploy when they play their games. I've seen growth in terms of how the technical approach of games. I was watching Township, the other day I was watching Musuti Center Chiefs playing at night, and I saw a lot of technical approaches which are very good. And then I watched Township Rollers play against Police. Police, you remember, they were on a ban, FIFA ban. They were not supposed to sign players because of other violations of rules. And they are struggling with players whom they brought from first division. And looking at Police playing very well like that, Lucky was not on that side. I was sitting with a coach, a veteran coach, Stan Mwanga, and he was telling me the Rollers, they need a striker, all-out striker, a box striker who sits on the striker. A big team like Rollers creating so many chances but no scoring. On the other hand, inexperience of Police players. On the other day, they could have won the game by 4-0 or something. They had a lot of duels, one-on-ones against the goalkeeper, hitting the ball on the goalkeeper. So you saw the lack of experience for Police players, but they also need to beef up their squad in terms of central defense and attacking. But Parazayama Divenga came up with a very good plan against Rollers because Rollers were trying to knock the ball, playing the way they know. And there's another thing that I observed teaming about Rollers, Simisani Matumo. The Rollers coach changed his way of playing. So we used to see him booting all the balls up front, but now he can play as a defender, as a big central defender. He builds from the back. He has that confidence of pinpointing and making so beautiful passes through the middle field. He can build can play with the goalkeeper. At some point, I saw maturity in his play.
Yeah, Robbie. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you very much for having been part of the show. As usual, I'm going to see you in the next episode.
My pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be here and sharing with the viewers about sports teaming.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our show. Time is not on our side. We wish to take this time to thank you very much for having been part of this episode. We're going to be seeing you in our next episode. My name is Motsewakhumo. See you next time.